Good afternoon and welcome to the BBC News at 1. Police in the United States are searching for a white gunman who shot dead 9 people, 3 men and 6 women, at an African-American church in Charleston, South Carolina. Police say the killer had spent an hour in the church at a prayer meeting before opening fire. Detectives say they're treating the attack as a hate crime and they've warned people not to approach the suspect, who's in his 20s. Richard Galpin reports. The Prince of Wales and the Prime Minister have attended a memorial service at St Paul's Cathedral to mark the 200th anniversary of the Battle of Waterloo. The battle was a decisive victory for an army of British, Dutch and Prussian troops against the forces of the French Emperor Napoleon. Tens of thousands of troops were killed or wounded in the battle, which settled the balance of power in Europe for a century. Well, Robert Hall is on the battlefields of Waterloo in Belgium. Robert. That essential repair work on the Palace of Westminster could cost around £7 billion unless MPs move out for as long as 6 years. That's according to a report into the state of repair of the palace, which is partly sinking and has asbestos and outdated cabling. Our political correspondent Chris Mason reports. Good afternoon and welcome to the BBC News at 1. The future of Greece is hanging in the balance after the country overwhelmingly rejected the terms of an international bailout package. Eurozone leaders are considering their response to the referendum in which 61% of Greeks voted no. A summit is due to be held tomorrow in Brussels to discuss the crisis. Queues have formed once again at banks, which are expected to run out of cash in just a few days. Here, David Cameron held an emergency meeting with the Chancellor and Governor of the Bank of England. Chris Morris reports from Athens. Good afternoon and welcome to the BBC News at 1. After 17 hours of talks in Brussels, Eurozone leaders have reached an agreement to keep Greece in the euro. They are offering a third bailout in return for tough new reforms that have to become law in Greece by Wednesday. The cost of the bailout is huge, £61 billion. But so too is the price the Greeks are now paying. They face years of even more and tougher austerity. The German Chancellor Angela Merkel said the road ahead would be long and arduous. Well, Tim Wilcox is in Athens for us now. Tim. A number of flights at Heathrow were cancelled or delayed this morning after a group of protesters cut through a perimeter fence and chained themselves together to 4 years in prison. Groening had the job of counting the money confiscated from prisoners as they arrived at Auschwitz. After a 3 billion-mile journey that's taken almost 10 years, an unmanned NASA spacecraft has hurtled past the planet of Pluto and sent a message to Earth telling scientists that it survived its close encounter with the dwarf planet. Later today, it's expected to send back photographs, the first of their kind, which should reveal details of Pluto never seen before. Our science editor David Shookman sent this report from Mission Control in Maryland. To our correspondent Rebecca Morell, who is at Mission Control for us. What a moment it will be when these photographs finally come down to Earth. How soon are we expecting them? With just a day to go until the start of the Open, the old course at St Andrews is ready to welcome some new rising stars. In its 144-year history, it's seen some memorable moments from Jack Nicklaus in 1970 to Seve Ballesteros' iconic victory in 1984, and then, of course, the reign of Tiger Woods. But with Rory McIlroy out on crutches, all eyes will be on his new rival at the top of the sport, as our correspondent Andy Swiss reports. Finally, this is a giant hogweed and it's been dubbed the most dangerous plant in Britain. So far this summer, 5 children have suffered serious burns from the plant. It contains chemicals that diminish the body's natural protection from UV light. Our correspondent Judith Moritz has more.